Awesome. All right.
Okay.
We're all good.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm super honored to be here. This is my favorite topic in the whole world because I believe that if you find the right leaders, then you don't have to worry about, how you're gonna succeed, right? Like that's the number one thing. It's not about, customers are important, super grateful for them, but if you have partners that you can run with, it's everything. My partners, they're my family. Sorry. So valuable, right? We love our leaders. And if you don't have your leaders yet, or you want to find more, then just know the best is yet to come. I love every season of this business. And as I've refined my skills, then I feel like I've been able to up level and attract even more fantastic people. And just by being yourself and being high quality, just really, really stretching yourself to grow, the people that you want to attract will come, right? But there's steps that we can do that can make these things a little easier. So I'm going to give you a secret that you really are in the business of finding and creating leaders. And, we do sell oils, but this business wouldn't go anywhere if we didn't have our leaders, right? My mantras from day one, I had 2 of them. And the first one was, I build doTERRA quickly and easily, and God shows me the way. And the second one is, I attract strong and independent leaders who are ready to build and share doTERRA. So between the first one, which is, I know who I'm following and who's leading me, and had the pace, right? Because I didn't say slow and steady wins the race, right? I said quickly and easily. That's really, really important to me. I don't want this journey to take a long time. I don't think it has to. You have to just choose in of how you want it to be. And so the second one, I attract strong and independent leaders who are ready to build and share doTERRA. So this remains true for me. The last builder I attracted found me. She actually asked me if she could bring a fondue party to my house. And by the end of the night, she was talking about the Philippines. And 2 days later, asked me if she could be on my business and my team. And she bought a plane ticket to the Philippines. She's invested over $30,000 already in her business. She has 2 full-time doTERRA assistants, and she's a premier. How did I get her? I've been friends with her for 12 years. And it's just by the relationship that we have had over the years and the timing. And I never pushed her. I never asked her. I just let her know when she asked me about it that I'd be floored to work with her, right? She has a marketing company with 13 employees, and that's why she can afford to build doTERRA so quickly and easily. And she's actually going to be moving possibly to the Philippines because she wants to be a founder so bad. Yeah. So when you find people who want to play that big, it's crazy, right? And so how do we find these people and how do we work with them? And so that's what this is all about. Okay. I'll tell you another reason why you want to recruit people who are already leaders. Because this girl I just gave an example, she's been in business for 10 years. She makes bank, right? She doesn't need me to teach her how to show up in the morning and do her day. She's got it. She knows how to organize things. She's all about systems and assistance and all of that. She's a massive delegator. So it saves me time, money, and stress to work with someone who's already an established business person. And I already got a $4,000 bonus when she went premier, and that was her second month in. So of course I'm going to reinvest in her. She's investing. So yeah, you're going to rank faster when you work with people who are influencers. And because if you're going to train people who have little or no business background, what do you spend most of your time doing? Teaching them basic skills of business and teaching them time management. And maybe you shouldn't just be on Facebook. Maybe you should go out and do one-on-ones or teach classes. Like, you know, like people who make money, they don't waste time. They're very, very quick about getting stuff done. So, all right. So it's not about how do I find leaders. It's how do I find leaders who will grow a business or who will enroll. So my first booklet that I made is this one, which is and Leaders Who Enroll. And the reason why I made that booklet was because one of my leaders said, would you just share with me your secret sauce? And I'm like, it's enrolling leaders who enroll. Like I enroll people who duplicate, who they don't just become a customer, they enroll other people, right? So to teach them to share is like a whole other thing. But if they're already a leader and they see the potential of this business, you don't have to do much. You know, like you tell them the comp plan and they're like off and running. So, I mean, I had an 18-year-old boy grilling his mom the other day about all the ins and outs of the business because he saw both of my $1 million houses. Because the house I just moved into, I bought for $1.6 million. And then the house I'm selling it for like over $3 million. And he's like, what does she do? She does the same thing as you, right? And so it's like, if you play bigger, then people are going to start coming, right? And if you're not making money yet in doTERRA, you will, right? But in the meantime, use your uplines experience. There's loads of millionaires in doTERRA. Get one of them on the phone with you. You know, like I'm one of many making bank in doTERRA. So you got to use our stories to help you, you know. And how do you do this is you have to believe that you're worthy and deserving of attracting the leaders that you want to grow with, and then you've got to serve them. So the number one thing you've got to do is just love them, right? You've got to love the people that you want to attract, and you've got to serve them. So there's an acronym that I share in my next book, which is this one, the Rockstar. And let's see if Lisa wants to share what it is. Do you remember it? The START formula?
I do remember. I remember reading about it, but I'm trying to remember what it is. I have it all highlighted.
I will go through it quickly.
Yeah.
So the START formula is an acronym, and S is for serve, T is thank, A is ask, R is receive, and then T is trust. And once you've gone through all those steps with someone and essentially loved them without expectation, then that's when someone might say, no, that business that you are involved in, I've really noticed that you're doing some great things. I'd love to talk to you about it. You know, that kind of thing. So, actually, I'm just going to move because I'm holding my laptop and it's kind of hurting my hand. So I'm going to try and move to a different spot, see if it's better. Oh, I have these cats too. I inherited 2 cats. Maybe somebody knows what to do with them. Is unstable.
Better go back to where you were. It stopped. It froze.
It's not. Okay.
Or, yeah. I think it just froze where you were at. We heard the cats and then it went out.
Okay. I'm going to just see if I can go.
Yeah, find a comfortable spot for sure.
Well, I have to tether off my phone anyways, so it doesn't matter much, but I have no internet at this house. So kind of funny. Okay, so
now we hear you. That's good.
Okay, maybe better. Also, it might just okay. So, anyways, my point is that when you serve people without expectation, when the timing is right, either they will approach you or you will know it's time to ask them. And I would definitely say be bold and letting them know some things. And I'll give you guys a couple of ideas on how to do that. But you don't want to let an opportunity pass, but you also don't want to ask too quickly, right? And so before we get to that, how do you show love with your love language? Like, what is the process or whatever? So the number one thing is you want to ask yourself, it's like, where's my strengths? Have you guys taken the strength finder, right? What are your gifts and talents? How do you show up to love the world? How do you nurture others? How do you serve them? And then the last question is, what do people compliment you for? Because likely if they're complimenting you for something, then that just shows that you definitely, have a gift in that area. So that's something to focus on. And I just would invite you to spend some time getting really specific about what kind of leader you want to be attracting. And you could flip through like the Leadership magazine and you can see, well, what are some of the traits of presidential diamonds or diamonds, and jot down a list and like almost like a job application, like make a detail. And that's kind of goes through, that's my book too. But you want to really decide like the criteria or the kind of leader you're looking for, or like their industry or their skill set. I mean, as specific as like, I was looking for a leader who was a graphic designer because I'm not one, I'm not good at that. And so I ended up attracting a girl who's a graphic designer, and so is her husband. So if she can't do something, her husband will. And then I just pay them to do graphics for my whole team. And so like, that was really a godsend to me because I wanted like basically a graphic designer on staff, and it was just awesome. You just have to remember that if you're going to shift into this, I would say like, so say you have 10 hours in your week to do your doTERRA business. I would say 8 hours of your week should be in finding and recruiting leaders. 2 hours maintaining your current customer base, keeping people on LRP, stuff like that. That's how important recruiting is to my business. I essentially don't do hardly anything else. I do some coaching, but I only do it with the people who are running. I don't coach people unless they're proving that they need it, because that's just my personal way. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time coaching their teams and they don't really need to. You can do, 4 or 5 different videos and send people videos. You don't have to repeat yourself all the time. So something that's interesting is I interviewed 50 Bloom Presidential Diamonds, and 30 out of the 50 were in business before. They were business owners, in fact, before. And so just really keep in mind that you want to choose someone who loves to set goals, and then if they've been successful in another area of their life, then they'll be successful with this. All right, let's see what else. So here's a quick question for you guys, and I want you to get a piece of paper out and just write down, you're gonna do this later, but make a list of 20 or more people who own a small business who could use oils in their work. So an example, a personal trainer, so a salon owner, a spa owner, a pet care business, a realtor, there's just so many different industries. So who do you know who works for themselves and who has influence that could add doTERRA into what they're already doing? Because essentially when you're recruiting influencers, you're not going to ask them to give up what they're doing now because they're making good money at what they're doing now. You're going to help them transition to adding doTERRA into their business or making it as a side business. And then eventually it's going to flip and that business is going to go away, or it's going to be sold or managed by someone else. So that's kind of like the goal there. Here's examples of how I've met people recently. Volunteering on a school field trip. So again, serving in my community. I produced a teen leadership summit and I worked with local community leaders. That's how I found that girl that I told you that I've known for 12 years, but we were just working together so closely on that project that she ended up feeling that way. Attending a personal development course, attending yoga classes, traveling, Uber, cruises. social media posts. About once or twice a year, I will get on Facebook and I will say, my business is growing internationally and I have space and time in my life right now to add one more leader that I will be investing my time and resources in. And if you're interested in interviewing for that position, then will you please let me know and we can set up a time. And every single year I recruit a person like that. But I don't overdo that. I only do it like once or twice a year because I don't want it to be like, oh, I've heard that before, you know? Facebook ads is also how we've been recruiting in the Philippines. So something else that you want to consider is that you could spend $3,000 on an expo, or you could essentially go to a high-end retreat and spend time with people who are business owners, like at the Jack Canfield retreat. It's like $5,000 in Hawaii. Like, why wouldn't you want to go to that, right? So you could spend money to grow as a leader, and then you're going to instantly be networking with people of that caliber who then would either give you a referral or join you in a business. Like, that kind of investment in your business is so much better than just sitting at an expo handing out samples, right? But you might spend about the same amount. So which one would you enjoy better, and which one is going to actually find you an influencer? Also, if you aren't already gifting people expensive doTERRA packaged gifts, like, you should do that too. Like, you should give people the yoga kit with like a diffuser or something like that, you know, like, just be generous, like up level your generosity. Don't be ridiculous if you can't afford it, but just be mindful that when you're giving a gift, it should be a doTERRA gift. And then you follow up and just say, how did you like it? You know? All right. So this is interesting. Like, if you are sincere about making a difference in your community and connecting with other leaders, you really should be investing in networking opportunities. So I don't know if you're a member of BNI or Toastmasters, or, I mean, there's Rotary, there's so many things. It's if you're there to make an impact, people are going to notice and want to know what you're about. And then that's going to bless you in your business, right? Let's talk about how you introduce yourself to other people. So depending on my audience, I'll say different things. So if I'm in a holistic health store, I might say, I'm Kelly and I teach natural health education classes. Or I might say, I'm Kelly and I serve others with natural health remedies. Do you have any health goals that I could support you with? Then if I'm talking to business owners, I say, I'm Kelly and I'm a business coach. I help people create additional income. And if I know them well, I might say, do you know anyone who's looking to make an extra $200 a month? But I might just say, I'm a business coach. I help people create additional income. And they'll be like, well, how do you do that? And then I might say that next piece, right? I might say, I serve people with natural health remedies, you know, blah, blah. I also love lines like, would it be okay if, I'm just curious. My best line ever is, you strike me as the type of person who uses natural health remedies. I'm just curious if you've ever considered an additional income stream with doTERRA. Or I also use this one a lot. You're someone I really like and admire. I see you as a natural born leader. I'm just curious if you've ever considered being a local or a global leader. And, or, you know, that people are like, what? Or I say, I'm just curious if you'd ever consider leading a local or a global team. Like, that's better wording. But people are like, for what? Then you say, well, let's meet tomorrow for lunch and I'll bring you, you know, some samples of what I'm up to, tell you the scope of it. If they know you, then just say doTERRA, and just say, my team is growing worldwide. And I don't know if you guys know, but like, Colombia's opening this summer. Philippines just opened. It's true. Like, doTERRA is expanding worldwide every day into new markets. So why aren't you a part of that? Like, why aren't you tapping into it? Well, I don't really recommend you do it until you're diamond, but if they have, you know, if you have a team leader who can support you or wants to work in those markets, then use that, you know. This girl that just signed up, as I mentioned, she wanted to work in the Philippines because she already had 9 virtual assistants in the Philippines. So it made a lot of sense for her to build there because she understood the culture and all of that. So just like look and leverage like what opportunities you have. So you're going to use the START formula. Let's see. I think it's also really important to spell out your expectations of like what you're offering to a leader and what they can expect of you and what you're going to expect of them. So very clear at the beginning. I also like ask them to walk the talk for the first 14 days before I make any commitments of where I'm going to put them on my team. And just recognize that your leaders are going to grow at different levels. So even though some are going to go out the gate running like this one lady, she could have also just sat on my team for like a year and then did something. I've had people like that too. Heather Matter is someone that's on my team. She's a Presidential Diamond. She just did an LRP for like 2 years. And then one day I gave her an aroma touch, again, serving her. And I was talking about my day and what I was doing. And she asked me about how much money I was making doTERRA. And I said how much I was making. She's like, okay, I really am missing the boat here. How are you doing this? And in 2 months, she was diamond. So like, you know, sometimes just timing and like teaching people how to do this.
Hey, Kelly, can I ask you something? I mean, I know right now that you're presidential, but we've got a lot of, you know, people who obviously are not at that rank. That's why they're wanting to hear from you. Can you maybe spell out what you would encourage, like your leaders, or they're like silver and below, what you would encourage them? I know it's probably not a whole lot different because you've learned a lot, but what should be things that they should be saying that people can expect of them, they can expect
the same thing. The expectations. Got it. So I have the little list here. So, so really simple things. Like I expect you to do your LRP at 125 by the 15th of the month. I expect you to do 8 to 10 hours a week, working on your business, doing income producing activities, sharing, teaching, enrolling, weekly mentoring with their silver or above mentor. Like I'd say like on an as needed basis if they're just brand new, but at the beginning they kind of need a little bit more, you know. And then I would say 2 to 3 events a month or 15 one-on-ones, and then continued personal development. That's what I would expect of someone who's coming on board. Okay. What their expectations of me would be that I would make myself available for them, and with weekly mentoring as needed, and support a group is okay. I would help them to be confident in teaching and be there for their first few events. I do the I teach, we teach, you teach method, and I don't hardly ever go back to them, except to celebrate their teams and do ongoing business trainings after that. Like I wouldn't keep teaching for their team, you know. I would come back like on a quarterly basis and do like a business training day, or I do a celebration day or something like that. I would make sure that they feel supported and a part of the community. I would help them to understand that I build with them, not for them, and that I'll be a cheerleader and encouraging them along the way. And that at any time that they have a change in their goals, that we're just honest about it. Like I get it. Like sometimes people have a shift in their priorities and doTERRA drops out. I would just say, would you please always let me know if your commitment wavers or changes, or, you know, and then just have this mutual love and respect for each other, that we're always gonna be honest with each other. If you're having a hard day, please let me know. If you're having a great day, I'd love to hear about it, you know? And then just creating a community of leaders is really, really key. Like we have a really wonderful online, you know, leader group, and I give them some really strong support in there. We do a Q&A, you know, once a week, and we do a training once a month, and just like make sure. But I would definitely say set aside time to play as a team and not just work together. So if you're doing that, it also creates this appreciation level that you're friends first, you know, and business partners. But I just love it when people get to know each other personally and not just like, oh, what's your rank this month? And you have your PO, power of 3 done. And, it's just like, no, we hang out too. And you have that build the relationship of trust and just give them a platform to teach and share as quickly as possible. Let's see. That is about all I was going to say tonight, but I do want to just end on this note that if you haven't realized it already, you are already an influencer and you have been seeking this opportunity. So it's time to let other people who've been looking for this opportunity know that you're serious about, linking arms and that you're excited to grow and that you're looking for people who want to grow with you. And so just open your mouth and invite somebody who inspires you, because likely if they inspire you, they're going to inspire other people, right? So don't enroll someone as a leader unless you would follow them to China, because you might have to. And you also want to, they say, someone that would inspire you, but someone you want to spend time on the beach with, because we do a lot of incentive trips every year. And if you can't stand the person and you don't want to hang out, like, they're not your person, right? So, so there you go. So I'll just open up for questions, and I really encourage you to apply the principles. If you don't have my book already, you can get it on Aroma Tools or at Oil Life. But the book is a 30-day program, and so it invites you to take certain steps each day, and if you do it, you're going to have a huge list of people that you're going to want to grow with. And so any questions?
Back in stock? We saw it, like we were promoting it and a number of people got it and then it was sold out. Is it back in stock?
I've been so bad. I need to go with my move. They keep emailing me, and I need to go get it. So, okay. But if anybody wants more than 10, I'll just direct ship it to you.
Okay. You guys let us know and comment on the page, because if we have 10 in Ohio and 10 in Michigan, then we'll just get in touch with Kelly and order through her. Yeah. And we only have like 5 minutes left, okay, because we accidentally did this on our timed account.
Okay.
Instead of our unlimited one. So
that's okay.
If you have a question, you better ask it fast.
Yeah. That was God's way of like helping me get back to my meeting. Yeah. Okay, you have a copy. That's awesome. Who has a question about what we talked about today, or maybe something I could clarify, or I just know that there's a lot of missed opportunities because people are too chicken to ask people. So if you've been thinking about someone while I've been talking, write down their name and then think about how you could serve them or thank them. And just start with that, like totally sincere, because if anything, you're going to make a good friend out of it, right? And that's how all business partnerships should start, is with that. So,
and I love how you're so clear on everything. You're so clear on like who you want and what you want. I think that's what we all have to be more clear on as well, and with those affirmations. And so, like, through your talking, like all the ways that you do things and say things, it's just so clear. And I think that we all have to be more confident in that as well. So,
well, and that comes in time, but really, honestly, if you're brand new and you're not using your team leaders' support, like, it's time, like, get them on the phone with you, leverage that. I mean, if you have someone who's saying, oh, I don't have time for a 3-way call with you, keep going up. Because somebody will care about you recruiting an influencer. And there's no reason why you should be on the phone by yourself with that person if you're like not capable, or not capable, if you're not ready, if you're nervous or something. And if you're excited, but you just need the validation of someone who makes more than $100,000 a year in doTERRA, you better get them on the phone, right? Because that's what Elise Chedevy does, like, most of the time, is she's giving validation to her brand new leaders. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I want to recruit higher levels, but with my new team leaders. So if I can get on a 3-way with someone, what does the 3-way conversation look for me? I would just honestly Google or find Elise Chedevy's it's everywhere.
I've got it, Heather. I can share it. I think we actually have it shared in our getting started portion of this page.
Yeah. And like I've looked at hers a lot, but I'm just like, I just do it all the time now. But one of the best things you can do is just ask people about their goals in life and their dreams, and just like, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. So how I got started in doTERRA is, it's kind of a funny story. I'll just say it like super quick because we only have, 2 minutes. So you have to know that my next door neighbor was Dr. Hill, okay, for 7 years. And my other next door neighbor was Rod Richardson, who I later recruited, who's a Blue Diamond now. It was an awesome street. But Natalie Goddard was trying to recruit me for 18 months, and I always said no. I had 350,000 followers on Twitter, and I was a business coach, and I had a company called Startup Princess for women entrepreneurs. I was not about to leave that, and I wasn't ready to do that. But she knew the impact of my influence, and she wanted me on her team. And we were friends for like, we've been friends for like 20 years or something. And so she told me so many times, like, oh, come to my class, do this, or come to my house and do a Zyto. And I remember I always said no to the classes. One time I went to her house and did the Zyto, and the only oil it showed that I needed was coconut oil, which is such a joke. She was so disappointed. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll buy that from you. Why do I need that? She's like, well, you could add it with the Serenity you just bought. I'm like, it was just like, so she didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want an account because I didn't want to be on her team. And then I remember I did finally go to a class, but I arrived late and I left early because I didn't want the sales pitch on purpose. And then the other thing was, she was driving down by my house and she had this overwhelming feeling like she had to give me one more chance, one more time, that like my dreams depended on it. So she's like, I'm going to ask her about that because she knew my dreams. And so she said, I know that your goal is to serve a mission with your family and to travel the world. I'm just curious, what is your financial strategy to make that happen? Because she knew I was a business girl, right? And I was like, wow, you got me there, because I was trading hours for dollars as a coach. My husband was doing the same as a home theater designer and installer. We didn't have the luxury of living all over the world or serving a mission for our church. So by her asking me that question, it finally got me to go,